Hi, I'm Debbie Harbeck, and I'm a certified life coach working with women in midlife and through the menopause transition. So each week, I'll be sharing the latest information, inspiration, and generate some momentum so you can move forward and feel more in control of your changing midlife body and your life. Let's go. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast, and I'm so glad you're here because this is the day before spring officially arrives here in Canada, and it honestly feels like it's been the longest, coldest, snowiest winter that I've lived through, and I'm just over the moon that spring is finally on its way. I am so done with winter this year, and I have a feeling if you live in this area, around this area, you might be feeling the same way. So I just wanted to give a shout out to spring. Yay, spring. So today's episode is all about that frustrating cycle of starting over every Monday, that dreaded Monday. And maybe it's the first of the month or the first of the year, but I'm calling it Monday. And whether it's with your eating habits, your workouts, your sleep routine, you're just feeling like you're always recommitting to taking care of yourself. And to be honest, that's exhausting. And if you've ever thought, why can't I just stick to it? Well, this is a pretty great episode to listen to help you with answering that question and hopefully getting over it. So today I want to unpack why this happens. Why do we have to keep recommitting to a Monday? What are the sneaky ways that self-sabotage shows up for us? And most importantly, I want to talk about how you can break the cycle for good using coaching approaches that I use with my clients. So I'm going to get into those. So let's dive in. Let's start with why we keep starting over. Let's be honest. How many times have you said, okay, Monday, I'm back on track? And maybe it's after a weekend of wine or takeout, too much takeout, or skipping workouts. So you start on Monday and you start the week strong. But by Wednesday, Thursday, you're dropping off a little, and by Friday, the whole thing is out the window. Does that sound familiar to you? It sounds familiar to me because I've definitely been there. And so have my clients. So here's the deal. This isn't about willpower. No need to beat yourself up here. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you're lazy or undisciplined. The real reason so many women I meet struggle with consistency is because of three common mindset traps. And the first one, I'll call it the all or nothing mindset. And this is when you think if you can't do it perfectly, why even bother? That means if one meal is off plan, the whole day is a waste. Or if you miss one workout, the whole week is ruined. This is perfectionist thinking, and it really keeps you stuck. It really does not help you. The second common trap would be unrealistic expectations. This is when you set goals that are too rigid. You expect to completely overhaul your habits overnight. But life happens. We get stressed. We've got kids to take care of, parent issues, work, perimenopause shows up, right? So instead of adjusting and allowing life to seep in and just be what it is, you decide to quit and make a promise to yourself you'll start fresh on Monday because, of course, things are going to be perfect next week. And then there's the unconscious fear of success. Yes, this is a real thing. And it's unconscious because sometimes you actually sabotage yourself because deep down, success feels scary. Imagine, because you don't know who you're going to be if you get that success. If you lose the weight, if you get fit, if you start feeling amazing all the time, who are you going to be? What are you going to do? Sometimes it's easier to stay in the struggle because it's familiar. The uncertainty of what it'll mean to be this person who actually achieved the goal, that's really daunting. It might change your relationships. It might change your life. And that can be a little bit scary. Now, we want to figure out how to break this cycle, right? So we know the problem. How do we go about fixing it? And this is where coaching comes in. And I want to walk you through 3 powerful shifts that will change everything for you. The first shift is stop waiting for the perfect start. So one of the biggest things I work on with my clients is embracing the messy middle. There's no magic reset button. The key is learning to pick up where you left off instead of starting over every time life happens. So think of it this way. If you drop your phone, you don't stomp on it, right? You just pick it up and you keep going. Same with your habits. If you drop your habit, just pick it up and keep going. So if you have that glass of wine or eat those fries or go to bed late, it doesn't mean you have to start over again. This is where you've got to learn some self-compassion and learn that failure has to be a normal and expected part of the process. For example, I have a client who felt like every time she ate sugar, she was a failure. And she was constantly starting over. So we worked together to not make sugar the enemy, to allow herself to make mistakes and make that part of the process, actually expect to make mistakes. And then we even built in moments where she could plan to have sugar, where she could eat it consciously and actually enjoy it. The goal wasn't to never eat sugar again. It was to help her gain control of sugar. And that's how she finally succeeded. The next shift is to focus on tiny, consistent wins. So instead of setting giant, overwhelming goals, which we tend to do, these big sweeping goals, focus on small, sustainable habits. In coaching, I help you build routines that work for your actual life, routines built up of habits. We're not trying to build some fantasy version of your life where everything is perfect. That's just not realistic. So instead of saying, I'm going to work out for an hour every day, we say, I'm going to go move for 10 minutes, no matter what. So this becomes what I call the non-negotiable. Instead of I'm cutting out sugar forever, we say, I'm going to be intentional about my sugar intake this week. Those small wins, they add up because no one who is successful is perfect. I'm going to repeat that. No one who is successful is perfect. They just focus on all the small wins and they let go of the losses. That's another key thing is we tend to carry around like a list of all the things we've failed and all the times we've failed. And then we bring those things up to ourselves and we hold it against ourselves. So let go of those losses and start focusing on all the times you win. And then rewire your all or nothing thinking. This is a game changer. In coaching, we work on catching that negative inner voice that says, well, you already messed up, so just start over next week. Instead, we practice self-compassion and cultivating a growth mindset. So if you've never read the book called Mindset by Carol Dweck, she talks about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. It is a fascinating book. I think everybody should read it because it can really help you realize how you can change your mind. It is possible. And so to evoke a growth mindset here and some self-compassion, one of my favorite coaching questions to ask is, what would you tell your best friend right now? I know you wouldn't tell her to give up. You'd tell her to keep on going. And this is a time to learn to talk to yourself in that same loving way, right? Now, what can you start doing today? I want to make this practical for you. There are things you can do today to start breaking free from this Monday restart cycle. Number one is set a bare minimum habit. What is one thing you can commit to doing even on your busiest, most exhausting day? Is it a 5-minute walk? Is it drinking water before your coffee? Choose something that's so simple that there's no reason and no excuse not to do it. I do this all the time with my clients because it builds that success muscle, which I like to call it. The second thing you could do is when you slip up, ask, what's the next best choice? So instead of thinking, I just ruined my whole day, try asking yourself, what's one small thing I can do next to feel better? Maybe that's adding a vegetable to your next meal or getting to bed 30 minutes earlier. It's amazing how this simple question can redirect your mind away from the failure and on to the success. Because inevitably, you won't always make the best choice. You are human. You will make human choices. but you have so many other chances each day to make a better choice in all the other things that you're doing. The third thing is to shift your focus from perfection to momentum. Your goal isn't to be perfect, or at least it shouldn't be. Your goal ideally should be to keep moving forward, even when it's messy. And it's guaranteed to be messy a lot of the time. So shifting your focus to progress over perfection is incredibly helpful. And I love it when my clients keep track of these kind of successes where they made a new decision where they would have normally given up. I want them to keep track of these things in something like a success journal to build an amazing resource that they can go to time and time again when they forget how successful they've been. I just think it's a really important thing you can start doing today. So, if this episode has resonated with you, here's my challenge. Don't wait until Monday to start fresh. Start now. Start small. And if you need support breaking these patterns for good, that's exactly what coaching is for. And to give you a boost, starting tomorrow, that's the first day of spring, I have a great challenge for you that's all about what I've just shared. It's about doing small things every day, and it's for 10 days. So lots of opportunity to kick off spring feeling successful and capable. And I'm going to share the link for the challenge in the show notes. It's called the 10-Day Spring into Spring Challenge. And if you'd like to dip your toes into the coaching water, I'd love to have a chat. Ultimately, I want to help you create a plan that works for you so that you're never restarting on a Monday again. If you're ready, book a free consultation with me. You know where to find me. It's in the show notes. And let's work on breaking the cycle together. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others. You can share it on Instagram and tag me at Debbie Harbeck. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways as well. And until next time, keep going, keep growing, and remember, you don't need a Monday to start fresh. You just need this moment. Keep moving forward, and bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Midlife Momentum Podcast. If you want to learn more about working with me, come visit me at debbieharbeckcoaching.com. That's Debbie, I-E, Harbeck with a C, coaching.com. See you next week.